a little sample in. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. You know what I forgot? Hey, Paolo, huge favor. Would you give me a bar towel? Thank you. What you really need at home is a good bar back, because they'll get you towels. They'll do the things. So you have an extra glass. It doesn't have to be this. It could be this. I've already practiced, so I'm gonna use this glass again to taste our gin. I suggested Botanist, but it was just a suggestion, and I'll tell you why. But if you chose a gin you like, chances are you're gonna like these drinks with that gin. So as long as the gin you use today is a gin you like, what do you got there? I can't see it from here. What is that Katati?
Yeah, it's Navy.
What is it? Navy Conniption. Yes, you're gonna like it. We're doing all kinds of things to make up for that low ABV cocktail first. I like it. Thanks, Chuck. Okay, so this, I'm just gonna practice a little 1/4 ounce of this gin. And this is the Botanist. And I'm gonna practice kind of, if you're, we haven't done this a lot, so I'm gonna go through this real quick. If you're wanting to like kind of enjoy your spirit neat, or at least approach it neat, to know like, how do I know about this? This pretty much works with all of the spirits. This is the way almost all of the spirits are enjoyed. As opposed to, say, wine, where you start the swirl process. With spirits, you don't swirl it at first. You leave it alone. And some people even get fancy and like cover it with something, pour it out early, put it in there, and then walk away for a bit. And then you come back to it. And then you pick it up. And when you smell it, you put it to your nose, leave your mouth open. If you close your mouth when you smell a spirit, you'll basically blow out your nostril and you won't really be able to smell very much. It's just, there's a lot more alcohol than, say, wine. So it's important to leave your mouth open. So you just leave your mouth open, kind of breathe in gently. And another nice thing to do is to move the glass from side to side. So you're favoring one nostril and then the other. And believe it or not, they'll smell a little different because your nostrils actually do different things. One of them, I believe, does smaller particles and the other one does bigger particles. So you end up getting a different idea of what things smell like, which is why when you're like partially congested or like on one side, everything smells weird. So that's smelling. And then if you taste, there's all kinds of ways to get your mouth ready for it. You can dab it on your lips. You can do all this other stuff, but I just prefer to take the very, very, very smallest sip first. Chew on it, then swallow it. So I've got it all over my mouth, got it on my tongue. It'll probably be a little bracing because it's a spirit and there's a lot of booze, especially if you're Chuckatati and you're sipping on Navy strength gin. Okay, and then now the real sip. Not a big like a wine sip, but still a small sip. But now we've conditioned our mouth. We're ready for it. We're not going to be so like assaulted from it. There we go. Kind of let it linger in your mouth for a bit, chew on it a bit. And then at the end, just like let it, like breathe through your mouth over, because now you've swallowed it, and see how long it lasts. If it, just like wine, if it just fades immediately, it's probably not that good. The longer it lasts, the longer you get like an evolving palate. So on the front end of this particular one, so front of this particular one, you get more of the like aggressive citrus and spice notes. On the back end of this, you get more of that like mint and really bright botanical. So it's a kind of a refreshing finish. but they're all a little different. This is made at this is made on the island of Isla, which is famous for those big peaty scotches at Brooklotic, which is a newer, I think it's the newest of the 8 or 9 distilleries on Isla. So it's not a very storied distillery, but they make this delicious gin out of 9, what do they call it? Anyway, classic gin botanicals, and then 22 botanicals foraged on the island of Isla. And that's kind of their sense of terroir. Delicious gin. But like I said, if you chose a different gin because you liked that gin, these cocktails are going to work just fine. So let's get right into it. We're going to take our sheet. What did I do with it? There it is. Roll reversal. It says double old fashioned. And just like normal, we're going to, it says double old fashioned. We're going to build this one on the rocks. So this is a kind of a gift in that you can always do this at home. You're never going to get an easier assemblage than this cocktail. So, and just like normal, we're going to start with the smallest ingredients. I'm going to take my glass. I'm going to dump it out. I got a nice cold glass. Going to get some fresh cubes. My glass will hold about 4. Oh, you guys want to stick together, don't you? There you go. Lay down. Okay. So there's my glass. And then we're going to go the bitters first. So we got 3 dashes of orange bitters. I've got Angostura orange. O'Regan's will work nicely. And just like that, the hot sauce dashes we've talked about. I feel like most of us have done this a couple of times. So if you want me to slow down for something, please pipe up. But otherwise, things that we've gone over on a number of these, I might skip over. So there's 3 dashes of orange bitters, and then a 1/4 ounce of raspberry. I got mine in a big bottle. But just like with all of our syrups, make sure you shake it up before you make it up here. 1/4 ounce of that. 1/4 ounce of the tonic. This is the part where it seems backwards. We're going to do 3/4 ounce. Oh no, I got the wrong bottle, don't I? 3/4 ounce of gin. Just like that. And last but not least, 2 ounces of the dry vermouth. We're using Carpano Dry, but if you have Delon or any other reputable brand of dry vermouth, it's going to work just fine. Now it says either twist or raspberries. If you guys got raspberries good on you, I'm going to stir this real gently, like just make sure the stuff on the bottom is integrated. Not hard. We're not going to go stirring like a mad person here. And then a twist. So I'm going to use a channel knife. And we've gone through this before, but just in case, whether you want to use a peeler, a channel knife, or a paring knife, they're all kind of doing the same thing, right? We're using a blade to cut into the peel of the fruit. And what we want to do is express the citrus oil on top of our drink. So I'm going to do this and make sure my citrus is aimed toward the drink. So that when I do this, I can see that kind of cloud of citrus oil like hitting the top of my drink. If I don't see that, I'm really not making the magic happen, as it were. So now I have white side, that's the pith side. We don't like the pith side. Yellow side, that's the fruit side. That's where the oils live. So we're going to do that and turn. Okay, there we have it. So something, well, I get fancy, use a coaster, something like that. There's your roll reversal. How are we doing? Yeah. Okay. We're already hitting it right there. I like it. Yeah, I got a thumb up. How we doing? Let's see those drinks. Okay. Okay. Oop, there we go. Cheers. I like it. I like it. John, how is that? Oh,
That's
okay.
It's nice. For something as heavy on the dry vermouth as this is, I'm surprised by how much I enjoy it.
John, I never get tired of surprising you. Okay, so, oh, outstanding. Is there any left in that drink? Outstanding. Mm. So if you'll notice, if we had switched the vermouth for gin as far as the ratio goes, this would be a very, very different drink, right? It'd be a lot drier. It'd be a lot more assertive as far as the botanicals go. And the fruit, that raspberry, would be a lot more of a back note. Like we're not going to lose it because there's a 1/4 ounce of raspberry syrup in there, but it would be a very, very different drink. This is a lot lighter. It's about rounder. So it all depends on what you're looking for. But I thought this might be a fun thing to start off with. Is there a question about that? No? Okay. I guess while we're sipping on our first cocktail, maybe now's a good time to chat quickly about gin. Does anybody have any specific questions about gin before I give you just a quick overview? Okay, I don't see any specific questions, so I'm going to go into it real fast. How do I do this in under? What was that, John? Yes.
Why is gin so good, Shannon?
Oh, well, you picked the right brand if that was your takeaway. Okay, so gin is about 400-year-old history. It starts in Belgium first, but then quickly thereafter in Holland, and the Dutch become famous for it. The British go over to fight with the Dutch in the 30 Years' War. The British soldiers really like the Dutch habit of carrying a flask of their local spirit with them. They got to, they would drink before battle and got the name Dutch courage. So the British, as often happens, people go away, they gain habits, they bring them back, especially drinking habits. It happens with IPA, it happens with absinthe, it happens with gin, it happens with almost all of these things. So what the spirit I'm talking about right now is called Genever. It's kind of pre-gin. It's not really gin. The base is malt wine, which would basically be the same as gin, except for it is a lot less clean of a spirit. Like the base material, the barley malt really shines through, and it was usually ginned with 3 botanicals. When I say ginned, I mean infused with botanicals through a secondary distillation. The word gin is a truncation and anglicization of the word Genever. And the word Genever simply means juniper. So no matter where you make gin legally, juniper has to be a part of the infusion and botanical process. So that like piney note that people talk about, that's juniper. And it's the only thing that's legally required to be a gin. So anyway, starts with Genever. It gets over to England. They love it. I got to try to get a 300-year history in a couple of minutes here. It goes through a couple of phases. Old Tom gin, which is a softer, sweeter style of gin, becomes popular. It's the Brits. They like sweet things. And then after everybody likes this Old Tom, and Tom gets a bad reputation because crappy versions of it are everywhere. And to cover how bad it was, people would add more and more sugar. So it got a bad reputation. That and a bunch of other bad things happened. But I'll skip that 150 years. So then the upper classes decided, oh, we don't like that gin. We like dry gin. We're more sophisticated. So the upper classy folks like that, so much so that the British Navy made the officers' rations gin rations. And it was this drier style of gin. So then everywhere the British Navy went, which was everywhere in the world, their officers took this dry gin with them. So mid to late 1800s, the sweeter, softer style of Tom gin, which was the Victorian era standard, kind of flipped over to what we all grew up thinking of as gin, which is that London dry or dry style gin. But now the kind of dominant style that's really come on the market, especially since Hendrix, is this kind of like gateway style of gin where juniper legally has to be in there, but you kind of have to be told it's in there. Like it's not the dominant note, right? They're leading with cucumber. They're leading with other botanicals that are softer and easier. They're trying to basically get vodka lovers to come back to gin. So that's kind of where we find ourselves now, which honestly is the golden age of gin. To answer John's question, why is it so good? Because you can have, like Chuck's enjoying, that bold juniper coriander forward expression of London dry or London dry kind of style that his conniption Navy strength. You can try something odd and very terroir driven from Scotland. You can try something from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan that's a little softer and sweeter, but it uses exclusively local botanicals to gin. You can try Hendrix, which is very cucumbery. You can try something that's just a hammer of Smalls gin. Is just like, if you don't really love juniper, you will hate this gin. So just the wealth and breadth of options we have now makes this kind of the golden age of gin. Cheryl asks, what makes it dry? Well, there's two things that make any spirit dry. One is less sugar. So Tom gin or Old Tom gin has sugar added to it. In fact, some dry gins do, but they have markedly less. The other way to make something drier is to just make the proof higher. So when Hendrix came out at like 88 proof or 44% alcohol by volume, that was markedly different than Tanqueray, which is 94 point something for proof. So it's 47.1, I think, so 94.2. It sounds like just a couple of points, but the difference between 88 proof and 94 proof is very different. Like it's a lot hotter. Like it's noticeably hotter. So a lot of modern gins will lower the proof because people go, "Ooh, it's so smooth." It's like, well, water's smooth. And the difference between 94 and 88 is distilled water. So that's what makes a dry gin dry is A, they added less sugar, and B, they tended to have higher alcohol, but that's not always the case. Okay? Groovy. I'm gonna have another sip of this. Yeah, it's like an adult punch. Okay, so cocktail number 2, gin and tonic. This is a drink I came up with. No, I'm kidding. So gin and tonic. Speaking of gin, like the most popular way to consume gin is gin and tonic. I mean, followed only by the martini. And that's not an order of preference. That's just an order of popularity. So we here make our own tonic, and hopefully you have some, and it looks like that. And you're like, people ask us, why is it brown? Well, because we don't use quinine, which is the mineral, the salt that is the bitter element that makes tonic tonic. It is the antimalarial. We use cinchona bark or bark from the cinchona tree, which is the source of said quinine. So what you would take to make refined quinine is you take the bark and refine everything else out until you got just that white powder, which can be dissolved in water and is clear. So which is why tonic waters tend to be clear, because it's just quinine. We're using the bark powder because there's a lot more stuff in that bark powder than just quinine, and it's all pretty tasty. So I don't want to do it. So it's kind of if you're the person who puts a little sugar in their coffee, and it's like choosing between granulated white sugar and that sugar in the raw, right? The sugar in the raw, it's still sugar. In fact, it's more like the original sugar. It's just less processed. So that's kind of one of the reasons we stuck with this. It's also, this is a tonic syrup, not a tonic water. So as you saw in the last drink, we added a 1/4 ounce of it. It's not soda water. It's a concentrate. Okay, so when we're making our gin and tonics, I like it. So we're going to build this in a glass, quick shake into another one. Oops, sorry. Let me do this first. Let me demonstrate this. Make sure you do this. Even more than the raspberry, the stuff in this tonic will fall out of suspension. Like it'll separate and fall out. I could put stuff, exactly. I could put stuff in here to stop that from happening, but we don't need any more stuff in here, do we? No, we don't need more stuff in there. So 3/4 ounce of that. And then we could add more citric acid to this and avoid this next step. But this next step is adding fresh citrus. There's nothing that tastes as good as fresh. So we're always going to leave it like this and ask you to add some fresh citrus. So in this case, I'm going to use lime. You can use lemon, but let's face it, lime's delicious in this case. So 1/2 ounce of fresh lime. And last but not least, 1.5 ounces of gin. Okay, that's last but not least into our mixing glass, that is. Okay, we're gonna get one of our second cold double old fashioned here. Dump that. Put some fresh ice in here. Now what I'm gonna do is spray a little soda water in here, like 2 ounces. And then I'm gonna take about 4 cubes, put them in here, and I'm gonna do a four count shake. This is super quick. You don't wanna shake this a very long time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, that's it. That's all you want. I really want to chill the fluid. I do not want to dilute it because I'm adding soda water. So I want my bubbly water to provide the dilution, not my flat water from the ice. Go. Now, sorry, I could cut a wedge of lime here. Little lime. Go ahead and taste it first. That might be just what you want. I like just a couple of drops of lime right on top, because just a couple of drops right on top, you'll be able to smell. Did you try that? Did everybody try it without and then with? That fresh kind of lime on the nose is really appealing. I feel like I should have made a peel joke there. Okay. How are we doing there?
So
OMG.
good.
You do have to go a little bit slower.
Yeah, you got
We're new.
We're not.
Okay. Okay.
And we're like, oh my gosh.
Okay, let's see where you are. Let's see where you are. Can we
We're drinking.
Oh, you got it done. I don't have to go any slower. You got it done.
It's like,
How much soda?
lady.
Like
How much
2
soda?
ounces. Like 2 ounces. And then if you feel like you need more soda, you can add more. But start with 2 ounces. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, she's I like it.
So I got a quick question for you.
Please.
See this?
Yeah.
How many ounces is the big one and how many ounces is the little one? Because I don't know.
Okay. I don't either because I can't really see. Is it marked on the inside?
No, because it's the fancy kind.
Oh yeah. It looks like 1 on the short side and 1.5 on the big side. But I would guess if I was you, do you have a shot glass in the house?
Yes.
Okay, that shot glass is probably 1.5 ounces.
This one?
So why don't you fill that full of water and then dump it on the big side and see how close you get?
Okay, let me do that.
What's John saying? Oh, John?
I
Okay.
usually make this with the Navy strength conniption gin, and so I'm used to it being a much more punch me in the face with the gin. And this is very interesting and pleasantly different.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. But which gin are you using? Are you using
I'm using the
Botanist?
Botanist. Yeah,
Okay, great.
I will run down whatever gin you recommend because
Oh,
I like
well,
gin.
it's nice to have more than one in the house, just in case.
I got like
Sometimes
4.
you're feeling froggy.
4.
Oh, well, that counts as more than one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have a similar idea about gins in my house. I want more than one. I won't tell you how many. So, gin and tonic. Did we figure out that jigger? Was it 1.5?
So the small sign is a half, the big is a 1.
Oh, that is okay.
Yeah.
That's cute. Great. That's actually very useful because if it was bigger, it's harder to have those smaller measurements. You can always just double the small size. That's great.
Yeah,
Lori,
being
um,
calculating. Yeah.
Lori and Karen, this wonderful jigger is available for sale at Alley 26's Mixers and Mercantile.
Okay,
It
wait,
is.
I got more. I got more. Like I have a plethora of bar utensils.
Uh-huh.
So welcome
As
to
a general rule, I try to avoid the jigger with the handle.
Ah.
this was
Your grandfather's.
no, this was a wedding gift to me. I'll show you my other paraphernalia.
Okay. My grandfathers didn't use jiggers. That appeared to be a problem as well. So, okay, gin and tonic. Where'd it come from? Tonic. It's called tonic because, as we talked about earlier, the cinchona, which is the source of quinine. Quinine is the first anti-malarial, and if the Europeans wanted to colonize the rest of the world, they couldn't die of malaria on the way. So when they discovered cinchona bark and then later found out that it was actually the quinine inside the cinchona bark, they kept using that as their anti-malarial. But before they discovered it was the quinine, they just had the bark. They made their troops, depending on which country it was, take some kind of bitter to make sure they didn't die. Like the French did a national contest. They had winemakers do a contest to see who could do a fortified wine that was that had quinine in it, and that when the winning entrant was a product called Dubonnet, which I happen to love. They still make it today, but the reason for that product is because they figured the French soldiers needed to drink some kind of wine that was fortified with this bitter, because otherwise they wouldn't drink it. The British just basically made their soldiers just drink this slug of bitter, and it was so bad. A lot of their soldiers would not drink it, pretend they drank it, and then get malaria instead. So, like, it was really, really awful. The officers, on the other hand, would do the more civilized thing, which was take the bitters to the officers' club and add it to their gin. So that's how the gin and tonic was born. It certainly was not nearly as pleasant as what we're drinking tonight. It was just like rough gin and this really horrible slug of bitter stuff. And then it got popular in London because when they came back after their tour to kind of prove their machismo, they would go to their gentleman's club and they'd ask the bartender for like, I'll have a gin with tonic. I got a taste for it in the war, That way everybody in the place would know how manly they were and that they'd served in the war because they got a taste for this horribly bitter crap. But then eventually people added sugar to it and soda water to it and all kinds of stuff to it and lime to it. And then now it's just delicious. So cheers.
Hey Shannon, didn't
Mm-hmm.
you One of the people from Dubonnet on a few weeks ago?
I did on our Industry Insider series. Yeah, we did. We had Lynn House from Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill is a bourbon distillery. They own a lot of stuff, but most famously, their core is they make bourbon in Louisville. They make Elijah Craig and Heaven Hill and Rittenhouse and Pikesville Rye, at Larceny Bourbon. They use a lot of the products we love here. So yeah, they make a lot of good stuff, but they also own a couple of other crazy others. The Christian Brothers Brandy, I believe they own a piece of, or not the whole of it. They own Luna Azul Tequila. And they own a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the things they had in their catalog was Dubonnet, but it was not a really great version of it. So they spent a few years basically going over to Europe and buying the currently produced original Dubonnet. So Heaven Hill has the American rights to have Dubonnet, to make and sell Dubonnet. But they didn't, so the Europeans can't import Dubonnet into this country, and Heaven Hill can't export Dubonnet out of this country because it's the same brand. So what Lynn House and others did at Heaven Hill was basically buy the European version and reverse engineer it so that the product we're getting is closer to the European version, although they did us the favor of jacking the proof up a couple of points. So it's just a wee bit boozier, which I'm okay with. But yes, we did have Lynn House on our Industry Insider series. That happens Tuesdays. We're going to go down to a couple of times a month, probably. And it's when we interview somebody like from Heaven Hill. We did her, but we also as the kind of the drinks gal from Heaven Hill. But a few weeks before that, we had the master distiller and the global brand ambassador talk about how they make all their whiskey. And then we've had a whole, actually too many for me to think of right now, distillers and brand folks come on and talk to us about gins and rums and tequila and all kinds of different stuff that vermouths. We had the fine folks that make Dolan on, and we'll probably talk with some more folks about more aromatized fortifieds in the future. So if you want to geek out sometime, a couple of times a month, we have, not as part of this series, but as part of just a free check-in and listen to us pester somebody for specifics about products. That's what we do on that. Where's that gin and tonic? Oh, there it is. Thank God. Any more questions there? Oh, bit on vermouth for new folks. Okay, so for those of you who missed the one we did where we had Jake Parrott from Dolan chat about vermouth, this is dry vermouth. There are three really main styles of vermouth. There's a bunch of other odd styles. And then there's a whole world of aromatized fortified wines around that. We were talking about Dubonnet, which is an aromatized fortified wine. The most famous family inside the broader aromatized fortified wine family is vermouth. So vermouth is made of wine. This is probably made of like Vermentino, Uni Blanc. Dry vermouth was kind of the late entrance into the family. The original vermouth was sweet, red, Italian vermouth, which started in Torino, Italy. And then later on, you had a style called Blanc vermouth, which is white, but sweet. In fact, sweeter than sweet vermouth, which started near Chambéry in France. And then later, Joseph Noailly down near the coast started by making dry vermouth because he found wines that were made closer to the sea that had that kind of, for wine lovers, you know that wines that are made next to the sea kind of have that kind of seaside quality, it's almost salinity to them, although there's no salt in the wine. Think about like Albarino or Muscadet. These wines that are famously about seafood are always made next to the sea, and they kind of taste of it. So the wines they had where he was making his wine were like this, and he thought they would make a really great dry expression of vermouth. So Joseph Noailly started with that. And it really took off in America in the late 1800s because we were talking about dry gin and dry vermouth basically were almost simultaneously introduced into the market. And neither one of them would have been popular without the other because they're so clearly made for each other, which is why the martini is so important. That one kind of, it was a multiplier effect in the fact their popularity. So that's a little bit about vermouth. But the thing to remember about all of these, and we talked about it before, it's aromatized, fortified wine. So treat it well, keep it refrigerated if you're not drinking it. It won't last forever. It's delicious on the rocks with a little piece of orange or a little piece of lemon. So don't let it go bad. Don't forget about it. It's waiting there. And we're coming up on warmer months. Glass of vermouth is a nice way to slow your roll. You know, you can't drink all day if you don't start first thing, but maybe you don't need spirits first thing in the morning. Oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't have gone into that. Okay. We got one more cocktail to do. I'm more than willing to answer any other questions if we have before we get into the last one, which is usually kind of the most involved. Okay. Who's that?
Just spend some time on the egg portion of this drink.
Spend some time on the egg portion of this drink.
I tried it for the first time with you in a class, and then I
Yeah.
tried it in another recipe,
Mhm.
and it just didn't come out quite right. I could see it in my drink, so I don't know exactly where I went wrong.
No. Okay, so we're gonna get our mise en place, sometimes just called mise, but mise en place is the French for to put in place. And it literally, anybody who ever works in a kitchen who sets up their station, that's their mise en place, right? Any bartender who sets up all their stuff so they know where it is so they can reach for it with muscle memory, that's mise en place. So your mise en place for this drink, you're gonna want a Hawthorne strainer, one of these guys with the spring. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. Okay. And then you're gonna want a fine mesh strainer, otherwise known as a strainer. We're gonna use, oh, there it is. I was dancing there. We're gonna use this mixing glass and the mixing tin, which fits neatly over for a Boston shaker set. That's what these two things together are called. Okay, so those are the things we're definitely gonna need. And then of course, our handy dandy jigger, available here at Alley 26. Thank you, John. Okay, so there was a club of gentlemen. I'll keep saying this gentleman bit because before, the one good thing that came out of Prohibition, because the mafia, I'm not going to count as a good thing. The one good thing that came out of Prohibition is after Prohibition, but not before, men and women drank together. Before Prohibition, men and women did not drink together unless they were at the dinner table. Like the clubs that people went to, men went to. Women didn't go to unless they were professionally there. So that was the good thing that happened with Prohibition. So there was this club of fellas that would meet at this hotel called the Clover Club in Philadelphia. And the gentlemen would meet there, and this was their official drink. And then the head bartender there moved to another hotel, took the drink with him. So it became extremely popular there too. Eventually he moved to New York and made the drink popular there. But it was really originally this one group of fellas. It was their like secret handshake cocktail for their like meetups in Philadelphia in about 1850. So it's basically a gin sour, meaning sweet, it's sour, it's gin. And a lot of sours, especially, a lot of sours have egg white. And this is not an exception. So here's what we're gonna do. There are other ways to make egg white cocktails. I'm not gonna confuse you by talking about them. So here we go. We're gonna put our heavy ingredients in first. We're gonna use a half an ounce of raspberry. Notice what we're doing here. We're turning it over, making sure it's nice and integrated. So there's a half an ounce of raspberry.
The sheet says a
I'm
quarter,
going to
but
go
we're doing a half, yeah?
half an ounce.
Half an ounce.
The sheet says quarter ounce? Huh. I'm glad I said it out loud because it's a half an ounce. Typing is not my strong suit. So then we're going to do a half an ounce. This measurement will become very routine of lime. What am I doing? No, we're not. I just lied to you. Okay, everybody calm down. Bartender's been drinking. Okay, half an ounce of raspberry, half an ounce of lemon juice. If you use lime juice, the world would not end, but it's better with lemon. Okay, a half an ounce. This measurement is becoming routine of dry vermouth. And 1.5 ounces of our gin. Blammo. So in this glass, we have a half an ounce of raspberry syrup, a half an ounce of lemon juice, a half an ounce of dry vermouth, and 1.5 ounces of our gin. I'm using the Botanist here from Isla, the island of Isla. That's not redundant at all. What I'm going to do is we're going to shake this drink fairly aggressively, but nicely. And then we're going to strain it with our Hawthorne strainer back into the original vessel. We're going to shake, we're going to strain back in here. Okay? So take about 6 to 8 cubes. If you've got some nice big cubes, the one that are in your like freezer tray are probably fine. But if you have one of those like ice machines at the house that makes the little pellet, you're going to need a lot more and shake a lot shorter. Okay, so we put that like that. Look at that, just a quick bump. Oh, we're already shaking. I love it. They're ahead of me. Okay, so then we shake. Like that. It's like 24. So to crack the side, if we're having an issue with cracking, you really, then I'm going to strain this. Once you're finished shaking, strain as fast as possible. We've shaken it. That means we've diluted it and chilled it as much as we want to. After that, letting it sit on the ice is just turning it to soup. If you can't get the tin open, remember, the trick is this is a really nice circle. The only part of this whole tin you care about is this last millimeter of height. This is all you care about, right? So let's say you have this like that. All you want to do is turn this perfect circle, not perfect, for a second. That's it. So it's just the very, very top millimeter. Everybody got it? Okay, and we strained it back into our original mixing glass like that with our Hawthorne strainer. That was great. Okay, I got rid of my Hawthorne strainer and the ice. Now I'm taking the egg. My drink is over here. My freshly used chilled mixing tin is right here. This tin has got a nice thin edge to it. And I'm going to use that edge to crack this egg and separate it. The drink is over here. I'm separating egg over here, not over here, right? So if I mess up, I have not messed up my drink. Excellent. So just a quick crack, open that up like that, boom. I'm going to take this and throw out the trash, and then I'm going to wash my hands. No, seriously, wash your hands. What was that? Oh, okay. I was just doing, you all know how to separate an egg, or I was literally just pouring it from shell to shell so I can get just the white in here, and then I threw the yolk away. You can reserve the yolk for custards in your own time, but I'm not making any custards the next few minutes, so I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, so you can now put these together and shake them, but if you're by yourself in your home and you want to do a little hack, you can take the spring off this guy and put him in there. When you're making an egg white cocktail, you're basically making meringue. It's like, think of the egg as meringue. You're not trying to get flavor so much from the egg, but texture. So when you make meringue, you whip it, right? So if you throw this in here, and then when you pour it into there, now that spring is going to act like a whisk. Do you have to do it? No. It just makes your life easier. Okay, so any questions? Okay, before we start this shaking, I'm going to find my glass, make sure it's ready to go. What was that?
We have a question.
Yeah.
We got our egg white, but that took us longer than it took you. So then what do we do with our egg white?
You have egg white? Where is it?
It's in here.
Okay, then you take your drink in the glass and you pour it on top and
Okay.
put it in there like that. Yep. Wait, where's the bottom of your mixing glass? Where's your, there it is. I
Do you
love
need
this.
ice or no?
No, you don't need any more ice. You already did the ice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got rid of the ice. It's
Okay.
already cold. Now, oh, look at that. Okay. Now, good, perfect. Now we start shaking. If you're nervous, that's fine. If it starts to get a little sloppy, you can always cover it with a bar towel if you have to. There you go. Now you don't get any points for ferocity. In fact, you can, nice long shakes are good. You can just do like over here, like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? So what you're looking for is feel, right? You'll start to feel that it gets fluffy. There you go. And then just maybe a couple of quick ones like that. You can feel it all fluffing up. Where's Gail? Where's Gail? Gail, longer ones. Nice long ones. Hey, you're like this. Nice long ones. There you go. There you go. Like that. Excellent, Gail. Okay, so now that should do it. If yours feels good, mine feels good. I'm gonna take this my little thing guy right there. I'm gonna take my fine mesh strainer just in case there was any shells. Oh, I really shook it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. What do we got going on here? Let me look. Oh, ladies, killing it. Killing it. Good job, Chuck. Look at that. John, nice. Nice. Who's that right there? Oh, look at that. How did it work this time? Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up. I love it. So is there something okay, is that Cornelius there? Oh, there he is. I love it. I think you're good. Does it feel fluffy yet? Welcome. Does that feel good? You good? Good? Okay, so now that drink is done technically. But we're gonna spruce this up just a wee bit. Okay? We're in extra innings here. This is the optional part. I'm gonna take my paring knife and I'm gonna cut a coin out of the peel of this lemon by pushing my thumb down, flattening the surface of the fruit, and then just like cutting it straight across like that. Okay. So I got a piece of fruit like that. No fruit here, just peel, right? See that? It's like a coin. Yeah. So now I'm going to touch this gently to the edge of the glass, right around. Ooh, wow, there's so much foam. And then I'm going to express the oil, not the white side, just the oil side, right on top. And you could see the oils hit the foam. I'm basically just kind of gilding the lily there. We want to make that first sip a nose full of lemon, and you're like, ooh, lemon. Okay. How we doing? Yeah? Okay. How's that taste in Tennessee? Excellent. Thumbs up. Cheers. They're volunteering a good opinion.
I tasted it without the lemon and then with the lemon, and it's much better with the lemon.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I don't know that that's in fact, I know that that's not necessarily traditional, but it's better. So Everybody got it? Anybody still working on it? How are we doing? Patty, Curtis? Curtis is he's having phase issues.
He always does. No, it's delicious.
He's going through a phase.
Yes.
Love the Clover Club.
Clover Club, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay.
This was awesome.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, definitely
That's
awesome. It's great.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's see. We got Lauren Cheryl. Who's that? I can't read from here. Gail, Patty, Curtis, did you even make this one? Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Did yours work?
I'm actually still just drinking martinis, but we did I made each one.
Figured. Oh, we've met. Curtis is just drinking old granddad. Okay. Welcomes. How'd it work out?
Great.
It was good. Cornelius came in right at the end to shake my egg for me.
I like actually good. His timing is perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
He's much better at that than I am.
Okay. Okay. My wife does that too. You're so good at this.
Yeah.
Okay, honey, I'll do this. I guess I'm so good at it.
Yeah, facts. All facts.
Loves it. Loves it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, everybody. John, did that work out for you?
Oh, yes, sir. I love this cocktail.
Outstanding.
Always left with a lot of foam and a very little bit of beverage. Just waiting for it to bubble down.
Okay. Who does? Oh, it's called Brunch Cast. Okay, how'd that work out? How are the drinks for the brunch cast here? I can't see. Oh, that's a still photo. I'm going to be staring a long time at a still photo to get a reaction. Okay. Okay, glad. Okay.
My
Yeah,
husband
please.
liked all three. I liked the first one that was vermouth heavy. I didn't care for the last two, but I'm not a huge gin fan.
Okay, there's a few ways to get around all of that. Which gin we're using?
We use the Botanist.
Okay, excellent. So I would urge you, if you're not a huge gin fan, to start with one of those kind of more modern styles, gateway gins. Hendrix is great. Conniption American Dry from here in Durham is an excellent example. They're far less ginny gins, and they're going to bring things. It's going to be a lot more approachable. Like, what do you not like about gin?
Well, I mean, we started with Navy Grog.
Wow.
Her first
Okay.
gin was Navy Grog, and then we kind of went from there.
But
Okay. Well, if she doesn't like gin, maybe we should start on the other side.
It's just like I just got her converted to like Highland Scotches. So I mean, it's
Good on you.
well, no, good on you. From
Okay.
I
Yeah, my wife clearly doesn't follow these classes.
I always drink.
There's no chance. As soon as I pour myself an Isla Scotch, she's like on the other side of the room, like, what is that? It's just delicious, smoky. She's like, I don't want to hear about it. I'm like, okay.
Exactly. I feel you.
Apparently not. You're welcome. Outstanding. Oh, no, sorry. They're welcome.
I did like the first one where it was more vermouth forward.
Yeah.
It masked the gin enough that I was happy.
What I'm saying is I think there are better gins or there are gins that will better suit your palate. I think if you had the last two drinks with either Hendrix or a Conniption American Dry from Durham Distillery here in Durham, either one of those two and a number of other ones, but I know you can get those two. You might have a very different idea of what this drink is, which is why when I was saying earlier, if there was a gin you have that you're using, if you have it because you like it, you're probably going to like it in this drink. where I wanted to use something that was kind of assertive and ginny because it's a gin class. But if it's not your palate, like if the kind of piney juniper forward expression is not what you're enjoying,
Well,
Yeah.
the world of gin now is not so limited.
I'll buy a bottle of Hendrix and I'll try all 3 drinks again this weekend and see how it turns out.
I think that would be wise. Yeah, of course. Of course. You got to put the work in,
Exactly. Happy wife, happy life.
What was that?
That happy wife, happy life.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of the happy wife, if you didn't really like the gin and tonic as much, a 1/4 ounce of the raspberry to that gin and tonic will probably put it squarely in the neighborhood of the drink you liked as well.
And we have plenty of raspberry tonic still.
There you go. There's tonic and there's raspberry.
Raspberry syrup. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions, comments, thoughts?
Hey, Shannon, so I would add to that, like, I know you've got it at the bar, the Heyman's Old Tom.
Mm-hmm.
If you drink it on its own, it doesn't taste sweet. Compared to a London Dry, it will taste sweet, but that's another one that's good for cocktails if you're not into the juniper forward type of thing, like an Old Tom, and you can get Heyman's Old Tom around here.
Really good idea. So an Old Tom is a different style of gin that predates, as we're talking about, it's a Victorian age style gin that she's speaking of. A good brand is Heyman's, which I believe, can you just get it at the ABC now?
Yeah, you can. You can get it.
That's
Definitely
amazing.
can get it in Orange County. I'm pretty sure you can get it in Durham. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Used to not be able to, but yeah, you should be able to get it now.
Okay, great. So Old Tom, great suggestion. Thank you, Patty. Death's Door from Michigan kind of drinks like a Old Tom, quite
Oh,
frankly.
it's so good. Death's Door is delicious. Yeah.
It's also delicious, exactly.
Yes.
But it'd be also a really good kind of entryway. And if you like that first cocktail, I think Patty's suggestion is probably better than my original one. So go with hers.
And the Death's Door is good because it's got a kind of like fennel anise kind of forward flavor, so you don't get that juniper, so you get something completely different, but they still got the botanicals. It's a really good gin from is it Wisconsin? Yeah.
No, it's Upper Peninsula.
Or Upper Peninsula, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
Death's Door is the name of a strait between like islands. Yeah.
That's the only reason I remember it. It's Burgundy's from Burgundy. Death's Door is from Death's Door.
Yep.
Groovy. Okay. Any questions, comments before I move on here?
We're moving on.
So can I let you know I'm not a gin person, but these drinks were fantabulous.
You can always let me know that, but now you can't say that anymore.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
Now you're a
Right.
gin person.
Now I'm a gin person.
Now you're a gin person. So when you say I'm not a gin person, is it I've never enjoyed gin, or I had that bad experience in high school or college?
So I like bourbon.
Me too.
So I'm a bourbon girl. I'd rather have, buffalo. I know you, ew. She's like, ew.
I have love for all the spirits.
So it was never my go-to. So
Yeah, I hear you. We can change that in the summer. You can take like a month off of bourbon in the summer to focus on.
the raspberry was fantabulous. Then the gin and tonic was really good. This one,
That's not it's really dark. Why is yours really dark?
because it's in a blue glass.
blue.
Oh, okay. I was like, what have you done?
No, the glass is tinted blue.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
why it's dark, but it looks
Okay.
just like yours. Mine-
Just for the record, all of my drinks are gone.
Okay. Excellent. That's
It's
their
so-
they function properly.
Yeah.
Groovy. Okay. Well, I'm happy we've converted some folks. That's always a plus. And there are plenty of recipes for gin on our website. If you want to look at our YouTube site, there's I think 100 videos up there now, and about 90 of them are me making individual cocktails with stuff. So if you like gin, you can find a goodly number. John, you have a question?
What you going to do in July? What's the July class?
You know, I was about to ask you. Usually we do the second Thursday of the month. I don't know what date that would be in July. But we've kind of went through the spirits this last year. So we've had a lot of folks ask us to keep doing this, and thank you. We appreciate it. So I was kind of going to ask you all to tell me what you'd be interested in hearing about in July.
Right.
Rye. Cheryl said rye last month. Okay. Is that Cheryl again? Okay.
Well, I think we came on after you did the rum, so we've not done a rum class.
Yeah.
Not done a
I
rum
was
yet.
about to
Okay.
say, I was about to say, rum just seems like summer beach show. So rum is a good idea because I think I missed the rum class.
Okay. Okay.
Rum
Cheryl, how
sounds
do you
good.
feel about rums?
I
Is this
like
another
rum.
thing you don't drink?
I like rum.
Okay.
How about bourbon? I drink bourbon all year long.
I do too. But I also drink the other things all year long, that, as it turns out.
Have you done
Um,
a class?
Shannon,
What was that?
Have you done a tequila class?
We have done a tequila class. We did one in May.
month.
I don't know why we chose May. Oh yes, we did tequila in May. We did mezcal before that, I think.
The mezcal class was great.
It was-
Thanks.
it was
Thanks.
Oh,
Okay,
I-
so I'm hearing rum or
I love a
rye.
repeat of mezcal.
Repeat of mezcal. Okay.
Have you ever
Okay,
done
I-
anything? Have you ever done anything with vodka?
We haven't done a monthly class with it. No.
So Shannon, I know it's a spirit class, but have you ever thought about doing something where it was like primarily like the dry vermouth we used tonight?
I have. I'm nervous about doing that just because I don't know how many people would sign up.
I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would sign
Okay.
up for vermouth or like Amaro.
Amaro. We
Yeah.
thought about Amaro. So here's the logistic issue with Amaro. Amari, if you will. We could pick Amaro, but since it's not like gin where, yeah, there's a breadth of gins, but the differences are kind of nuanced. Where Amaro are, titanic differences.
Yes.
They're like they bear no resemblance to each other. So you kind of have to
Right.
either A, say we're doing 3 different Amaros, and who wants to go $90 deep on the spirit just to do the class, or we'd have to pick one. And I don't know of the one that everybody would want to do and that is available in North Carolina / other places.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think the only one that comes to mind that might be palatable to most people would be the Montenegro orange.
Yeah, Montenegro would be super. We could do that. We could add Montenegro in a bonus round in the rum class.
No, that's true. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me consult with the boss and see what Claire has to tell me what we're doing. But I certainly appreciate the feedback, and we're gonna take this and figure out exactly what our next move is. But we're enjoying it, and I hope y'all are. So if we can, something I was supposed to shamelessly plug. We are nominated for Indie Awards in the Out and About section. So if anybody feels, I think we're in the chat. Are we in the chat? Oh, Claire is putting it in the chat now. So this is the link. If y'all would be so kind or mention to anybody you can, like strangers on the street, we're up for some Indie Awards. And that's basically lovely free press. So if you wouldn't mind voting for us, if you feel, feeling funky, we'd appreciate it. So she's sharing that in the chat, I think. She's done it. Okay, perfect. So please, and we'll be posting, by we, I mean Claire, we'll be posting what we're doing next month. So unless you've got any other questions I can answer.
Hey, Shannon,
Yes,
I have one more quick question.
please.
That first drink, the role reversal, we used fresh raspberry syrup.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to get that come November, December.
No, we will make raspberry year round.
Oh, you will? Okay. So
Yeah, so we make 2 different raspberry syrups right now. We make one that is as part of our Southern Farm series, that now that it's in season, we'll use a local or Southern farm, and we'll usually name check the farm on the label, but we'll also have one that is available year round. And that's honestly French fruit that we can get always, really, really good brand. And but we have access to that year round. Because raspberry syrup is a classic cocktail ingredient. So we kind of have to have that flavor. So we'll have that one, passion fruit, tonic, orgeat, falernum. We'll have like a core set of our pomegranate grenadine. Some of those things will always be available. And then like watermelons coming up, strawberries in season right now. Peach is about to come up. Like, so we're about to get inundated with new, like with seasonal flavors. But raspberries year round.
So then I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I thank you all so much.
Question.
Yep.
Hey, have you considered doing anything, with food? I know the out-of-state folks don't know the food is just as good as the cocktails. So I'm just wondering, I love that Alley 26 burger, that with the bacon jam.
I appreciate that you love the Alley burger. Apparently, the chef is sitting right over here, so she can hear me. But I don't know how to do a virtual burger. Yeah,
I was there.
Probably do some
I was there.
stuff. We did when we first opened the dining room side in 2017. We did more like pairing stuff, and we'll probably do more events when we're back. But it'll probably won't be till the fall. But that's probably going to be mostly live things here. Like when we do stuff, when we can welcome people back into our space for events, that we'll do more with food. But it's really hard to do kind of this thing with food. I mean, we can do small little snacks, but things like the Alley burger, like here, take this home and cook it.
Okay, somebody has to tell us what this Alley burger is.
Okay, the Alley burger.
No. Don't tell him. Make him come to Durham. Come on down.
Well, there's family to visit in Durham.
You have a place to stay.
Be quiet, Chuck.
But I gotta tell you, I was at the Alley last night, and I had the mussels with the chorizo, and they were over the top. They were really good.
Thank you. Yeah, mussels are a favorite of mine as well.
A lot, as did my friend who was with me, who had them as well.
Outstanding. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and tell him about the Alley burger. Maybe he'll come on down and visit.
Ladies?
Is this called reverse psychology or something?
Yeah, I don't know. He's taken away, then he's giving it to you. It's like Stockholm syndrome or something. I don't know what's going on here. Lori, you were saying something?
Yeah, so are you going to do like a cocktail club event that's live where we can all really meet each other and do some cocktails?
We might. It's just a lot harder to do logistically in person because it's very hard to figure out ways for you to legally touch booze.
No. You all touch the booze. We just drink it.
Yeah, we should meet in person. We're new to the club, but we want to meet everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, drink.
We should do that. We should do that.
You guys touch
like
the
a
booze?
private quarantine cocktail club.
Okay.
Hey, we're vaccinated, so we can travel.
Okay. So maybe we'll put something on the calendar, like August, September-ish, kind of figure out, we can maybe, because Claire has all the emails for folks that have done these things already. And it's all around.
Yeah.
But
it'll be like dinner with friends.
Like dinner with friends.
Except
we don't like to say that out loud around here. That was a traumatic experience.
Jerry, I'm sorry.
Before COVID, we came to the in-person classes and they were just great, really great.
I never
Thanks.
did in-person classes before COVID.
We used to do some classes. I did a class that was history of cocktails in 12 drinks.
Cool.
So it was a couple of, I tried to keep it to like an hour, but I was usually about twice off. But we just basically taught you the history of cocktails in 12 drinks.
You did
Uh,
12 drinks in an hour?
Nobody,
were all
nobody,
delicious.
2 hours, but still.
nobody got to drink 12 drinks. Everybody got a drink. Usually everybody got like a welcome thing, and then they got to straw taste every drink and then got their own drink.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's hard to schedule that, but
It really
we can do
was
it.
fun.
Well, we'll have to do more of those. I'll have to try to figure out how to make that happen. Now that we can be closer. I built
Now
a
that
bar
meat
in the
space is
basement.
an option.
What was that, John?
Now that meat space is an option.
Yes. But we recently had a bar built in the basement for smaller things.
Oh.
So there's for private things, and mostly these online things, because we've really enjoyed doing them and we don't really want to stop. But I have to open the bar up to make money because we'd like to stay open.
Shannon,
We like you to stay.
Thanks so much for this. This was great.
Thank you so much.
You have added my favorite thing. You now have a basement bar at Alley 26. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
no reason to go
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Okay, folks. Oh, burger.
Hey,
Sorry,
John,
I forgot
I'll
to
see you
tell
in
you
the
the burger.
basement.
What was that?
You.
John, I'll see you in the basement.
Okay, sounds great. I'll see you in the basement.
Thank you.
A quick word on
Shannon.
the alley burger. It's a half-pound burger with bacon jam, arugula, chipotle aioli, black truffle, cheddar. Sorry, thank you, and a potato roll. So the roll is really great, but it doesn't steal the attraction. And you can get it. I'm being told you can get it with foie gras shoved inside.
Yes.
Just in case a half a pound of burger and bacon jam is not decadent enough.
Yeah, you need to tell them what the bacon jam is because there's a few bourbon drinkers here. Those who
Oh, it's
don't-
bourbon bacon jam. I'm sorry. Yes.
bourbon
Wait.
bacon jam.
So
That's
yes.
actually pretty delicious on toast with an egg for breakfast.
Yes, it is. Oh, he must have gotten some jars. Oh, yes, yes. That was a, we don't talk about that anymore. That never happened.
You need to bring that back and sell it again. That was
No. That's, so at the beginning of the pandemic, we were willing to try things until we were told that maybe that's not a good idea.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Sorry to bring it up.
That's all good. It's all good. I will cop to it. We did what we had to do. And it was delicious. But I don't know that we're technically, what's the word, allowed to do that.
Well, you could take the bourbon and put it in a shallow dish and put a match to it
Okay.
and get so that you end up with the flavor.
Okay. I think there's a lot more to the.
I don't know
jam.
how. I don't know the flaws. So
You're-
don't listen to me.
You're gonna want to. There's a few more steps. Anyway, thank you all very, very much. Claire will be announcing tomorrow what the spirit is for next month. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of these things are kind of the highlight for us. We really enjoy doing them a lot, especially since we get to see so many familiar faces, and they're not all named Katati. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Really
Thank you,
enjoyed it.
Shannon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Appreciate it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Bye, Claire.
Bye, Claire.
Bye.
See you next time.